Namaste everyone. Welcome to Project Decoding Temples. Today's video is about top 8 ancient carvings of India. Before going into the topic, we would like to say that this is our first ever video to share and express the marvelous carvings did by our ancestors. The main subject of our channel is to decode the ancient carvings to bring out their true meaning. So, to give your love and blessings for our journey, and also if you like this subject, consider subscribing. It will help us a lot to continue our work. The world of science and the world of beliefs are two different things, but sometimes they collide without explanation. Science can sometimes support the belief, however, there are no hard and fast rules. Some observation cannot be accounted for by science. The only thing that defines them is the mystery. The temples of Bharat were not just simply built for showing its beauty or just for religious purposes, but it was always has some deep meaning hidden behind it. It seems that temples were built for some higher purpose. Have you got so many questions and doubts of whether to believe those temples carvings or not? Or to elaborate on this question, let me show you the top 8 ancient carvings of India. Number 1, Brihadisvara Temple, Tanjuru, Tamil Nadu. More than 1000 years ago, this temple was built completely with granite stones, a time when granite stones could not be found anywhere in the vicinity. Despite being built of interlocking stones without any binding material, this huge hollow structure of 216 feet tall has withstood all harsh or violent natural disturbances, wind, rain, storms. Today, we call ourselves modern and technologically advanced, but no 200 plus feet structure is built without binding materials, cement or blocks. Hindu king Raja Chola and his engineers used Vedic building science so highly developed, flawless and perfect that by comparison, our present construction technology looks primitive and implausible. Number 2, Kailasa Temple, Ellora. One of the world's biggest monolithic structure is the rock carving temple of Ellora. It is believed that Kailasa temple at Ellora is strikingly similar to the Virupaksha temple in northern Karnataka. This rock temple was cut in a U shape. About 50 meters in the back and about 2 lakh tons of rock was removed to give shape to it. According to archaeologists, the temple construction would have taken more than 100 years. But actually, it took only 18 years. Modern engineers find it impossible to complete the same temple in 18 years with modern technology. Number 3. The 7th century Virupaksha temple at Hampi, Karnataka. The magnificence of this place is the stone chariot, which you observe on Indian 50 rupees note. Yes, that image you observe on 50 rupees note is the stone chariot only. The Hampi chariot is one of the 3 famous stone chariots in India. One is in Konark, Odisha, another one is in Mahabalipuram, Tamil Nadu. In terms of its architecture, it is well preserved. The Dravidian architecture was used to construct it. Sculpted by ancient craftsmen and architect, the chariot is a colossal structure. This chariot is unique in the way that it appears to be one solid piece, but it consists of slabs of granite whose linkages have been hidden using artistic methods. Number 4, musical pillars at Vithala Temple, Hampi, Karnataka. The temple was built in 15th century during the rule of Deva Raya II. The most important thing to show in this temple is 56 musical pillars, also known as Saregamapa pillars. The pillars originate musical notes that rise from it. If one taps the pillar gently, one can hear the notes. Mandapa's pillars include a few main pillars and many smaller ones. While the supports for the ceiling of mandapa are designed in a style of musical instruments, a musical note arises from each of the 7 minor pillars surrounding each main pillar. Each note emitting from these pillars produces a different sound, which is also influenced by the instrument being played, strings, winds, percussion. Upon striking the pillars with sandalwood, they release rhythmic tones similar to Saregamapa. Number 5. Mahabalipuram Temples, Tamil Nadu. The Coromandel coast, located in southeastern India, is a well-known port city in Pallavas. The historical sites there include cave temple, monolithic temple, bas relief, structural temples and unearthed temple remains. The Pallava dynasty, which ruled the region from 6th to 9th century AD, built these magnificent buildings. The monument group of Mahabalipuram occupies a unique position in Indian classical architecture. This majestic building marked the high-quality craftsmanship landscape of the region in 6th century. The natural landscape was used to carve the structures, thus making the Pallava artisan world famous. Such structures include monolithic temples and rock-cut caves. The question arises how the people living in 6th century can have such rock-cutting technology. In our further videos, we will discuss this in more detail. Number 6. Chennakeshava Temple, Karnataka. The Chennakeshava Temple was built with soapstone and features typical Hoysala blueprints with very detailed finishes. The scale of this temple distinguished it from many other temples in Hoysala period and is considered to be one of the earliest buildings of the dynasty. At the highest point, the temple is 37 meters high. The pillars of the temple display some of the finest details and the finishing of the sculptures and the artwork in the entire complex. The Nrsimha pillar is one of the most popular among these temple pillars. There are 48 pillars in total, exquisitely carved and uniquely decorated, seems like using some advanced technologies. Number 7. Konark Sun Temple, Odisha. A stone diamond was placed at the crown of the sun god in front of the main temple so that the first ray of sunlight from the coast would hit the main temple and cross the Nata Mandir, the dancing hall. Apart from the floating idol, Surya is the main temple. One of the most popular theories about the Konark temple is that of its magnets. Due to the unique arrangement of the top magnet, the bottom magnet, and reinforced magnets around the temple walls, the statue of the main sun god inside the temple appeared to float in the air due to the unique material and the iron content of the statue. One of the most interesting aspects of this temple is the 12 pairs of wheels at the base. It is one of the most unique temples in the world. The spokes of the wheels create a sundial. By simply observing the shadow cast by the spokes of the wheel, one can determine the precise time of the day. Number 8. Hoysaleswara Temple, Helibadu, Karnataka. If you look closely, you can see these tiny circular marks around the pillars. The pillars were fabricated on the lathe by turning them. Lathe is an operation known as turning. Manual chisels and hammers cannot do this. How do ancient people have lathe technology at that time? If you look at these pillars, it is obvious that they are made by machines. In fact, archaeologists agree that these pillars are made on lathe, but did not provide a convincing explanation of how these huge pillars were processed 900 years ago. Today, we can create these fascinating grooves and design on lathe, but even today, machining a 12-foot tall stone pillar will be a very difficult job. So how did these pillars creating amazing perfection in ancient times? Did the ancient builders use machines and advanced tools, just like what we use today? If this is true, is it possible that they also carved these machines or tools in this temple? So are you questioning yourself about how our ancestors made these many things at those times? Well, yes, the question is good. We need to think about it. Because these are not fairy tale stories. These are the proofs of ancient mind and their impeccable technologies. If you are a knowledge seeker, let's join hand to share with everyone about this precious information.